Hey, what is good? What is good? What is good, beautiful people? Of course, you know who I is, the good doc, Dr. Mike, back again, once again with another classic. Oh, this video must be made. Classic video for you guys today. Sincerely hope that everybody is blessed. Sincerely hope that everybody's having a great one. Doc is having an awesome day. I wanted to talk to you guys about the United States versus the Philippines. All right. Now, I'm going to attack it from a different perspective, a perspective that I've known to be accurate for so many different years. But this is the first time that I'm ever addressing it, okay? So y'all make sure you subscribe, notify, do all of that good stuff, and make sure you join the good doc on this particular adventure because he's back, baby. Always has and always will be. Delivering the best content in Philippine genre history, okay? So, if there's one thing that I've noticed about the United States in comparison to other people, it is this. When you think about people who come into the United States from other countries, let's say China, let's say, parts of Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, whatever you want to call it, Nigeria more specifically, and people who come from the other Latin American countries, okay? Let's talk about those countries in particular first. What is the one thing that you notice about those three particular areas when those people come to the United States? If you ask me personally, they seem to work harder than everybody else, okay? Especially us Americanos, okay? Now, I know I might step on some toes here, but I gotta say my piece real quick, and you can take this video how you want to, okay? Number one, let's talk about those that come from China or like Southeast Asia or Asian descent. They come to the United States, they build businesses. If you haven't noticed, they have a lot of their own cuisine restaurants here that do buffets, the whole nine, and all the people love to eat their food most of the time. So they make their own businesses. We'll say that's for Asia. For those that are Nigerian, whatever, that particular descent, they come to the United States to be what? Anything in the medical field, more specifically doctors, nurses, and things of that nature. So when they come here, they work hard, extremely successful. Then you talk about those that come from the Latin American countries. Let me focus specifically on Mexico. Let me be honest with y'all. For those that come into the country, now this is nothing about immigration, all right? I'm gonna just scratch that. But when they get into the country, what do? They work hard as hell. They outwork everybody. Most of the time they get paid cheaper than everybody. And then what do they do down the line? Most of the time they end up creating their own businesses. So if they're very good with their hands, they'll do woodwork, they'll do plumbing services and things like that. Things where they can start to get paid at a level that they deserve to, but they have their own businesses in the process. Most of them are very good with service industry. So like I said, very good with their hands. So they work hard. They outwork everybody. More specifically, Americanos, myself included in all of that. So they outwork everybody. So what I've learned in my last years on this earth, especially as it pertains to the Philippines, if there's one thing that I noticed about other cultures and races that come to the United States, and Philippines included, they seem to outwork us as Americans. For the most part, they outwork us, right? Now, when it comes to outworking us, one thing that I've noticed since I've lived in the Philippines is this, and it might actually be the same in other countries as well. When it comes to schooling, when it comes to things to focus on, more specifically in the Philippines, I'll tell you this. Don't tell your mother and father that you want to go to school to be a dancer. Don't tell your mother and father that you want to go to school to be an actor. Don't tell your mother and father that you want to go to school to do anything that is not guaranteed to earn you money. When it comes to the Philippines and dealing with Filipino people in most respects, and probably in any other parts of the world, probably Africa as well, they know exactly what you're gonna do when you're born, okay? I'm gonna be honest with you. Filipino families gear their child to guide their children towards medical field, being a nurse, medical technology, med reps, well, not necessarily med reps, but physical therapy, respiratory therapy, that type of field. When you're born, I don't care how old you are, I don't care what you want to do, but when you go to school or you're going to college, you're going to college specifically for something probably medical. I know a lot of my friends were nurses. My young lady, a nurse. So I understand this thought process, right? You going to school to be a nurse, or you're going to school to do something medical, something that could possibly potentially help you get out of the Philippines to become an OFW, make more money, send the money home, whatever it may be, or go away, come back, make more money, and live a good life, or help your family live a good life. Parents from the beginning of time in the in the Philippines more specifically, because I know this, and probably in parts of Africa as well, train their children towards the idea of you're going to get educated in a field that is going to benefit you down the line. Let me talk about us in the United States. In the United States, have you guys ever heard of the follow your passion thing? Have you ever heard of that? The ideology of following your passion. Now again, I come from here. I know this shit, right? And it's cool. I understand. Follow your passion. Do what you want to do what you like, because ultimately, hopefully, maybe, just maybe, question mark, you might be able to earn a living doing it, right? But it's not the same in other countries. And the reason why I'm laughing is because these children, when they come up, especially in the Philippines, you're basically told, or the ideology or thought process, even in India and other parts of, some parts of the Middle East as well, they tell their kids exactly what they're going to do. Here in the United States, parents kind of give them a little bit of leeway to choose, to follow your passion. They'll say that shit. But what I've noticed is, and I'm just saying this to be real, and don't take this of any offense if this falls under if you fit in any of these categories, don't take it offense. But for those that go to school for English, to be an English major, those that go to school to learn about world history or to be a history major, or those that go to school for African American studies, no disrespect to my own, salute to y'all. For those that go to school for like journalism or something to that effect, or those that go to school for like design and fashion and all of that stuff, do you know how hard it is to find a job in those particular industries overall? I'm not talking about specifically you, but how hard it is to find a job in those particular fields. So let's say that you do 4 years of any of those degrees that I mentioned, plus others, and now all of a sudden you're stuck without a job because you chose to study in a field that's not going to be beneficial to you down the line. You studied in that field because that's your passion. Can you imagine how hard that is? Now you guys bills and student loans piling up on you because you went to school to get into a field that is almost close to impossible, maybe impossible to get into. After graduation, yes, you can intern through journalism at a newspaper place, or if you like doing news on the news channel, you can do that stuff as well. Yeah, with fashion design, you can intern for certain, local companies or whatever it may be, but interning don't earn you money. What I've learned is that the Asian parents, most of your African parents, they like, look, man, you're going to get into a field that is guaranteed to earn you some money. Doctors are guaranteed to get paid, surgeons are guaranteed to get paid, nurses guaranteed to get paid, journalism majors, history majors, English majors, and people like that shit is not guaranteed. And then when you graduate from this degree, hopefully, let's say, for example, an English major, what kind of job are you going to get? An English teacher? You understand? Now, don't get me wrong, I teach too, so I'm not shitting on teachers, okay? But I'm saying, if you're gonna go to school for something that is gonna benefit you down the line. You can do your passions whenever you want to, but following your dreams and shit, if you ask most Asian parents, they will laugh at you and say, boy, get that shit out of here. You ain't following your dreams. You're gonna go be a nurse, you're gonna go be a doctor, you're gonna go be great someday. And that's it. I've noticed that the parents and the way that most of these kids are raised in reference to how we were raised as American kids, they know straight up, man, you're going to school for something that's going to benefit us down the line. In the United States, there is a lot of free range for, I want you to follow your passion. I want you to be good. Oh, yeah, you can draw really well. You're very creative. You can be an art teacher or something like that. That just doesn't. It don't always work out that way. It becomes difficult to find jobs in this particular industry unless you're like fucking Picasso or something, So when I say the United States versus the Philippines versus the world or whatever I'm going to title this video, because I have no idea yet, what I'm saying is specifically this. Go to school for something that's going to help your ass. Go to school for something that you can jump into. Like, for example, I'll use myself as an example. Business administration. That field is so wide-ranging, it could fit under a multitude of different umbrellas. You can go corporate, you can teach, you can own your own business. I mean, you don't have to go to school and get a degree to own your own business, of course. But, there's so many different avenues that you can take and do project managing and things like that under that umbrella that you're not just limited to the types of jobs that you can have. I don't want you to go to school and be limited to the types of jobs that you have. And I think that's the mindset of Like I said, most of the parents, when they're raising their kids in these other countries as opposed to raising the kids in the United States, this whole follow your dream shit, I get it, and I want everybody to be happy, but sometimes you might have to bite the bullet, man. Pay your dues in the beginning, get that check. You never know, you might fall in love with it later on down the line, but at the end of the day, I want you to feel like you're earning that check, like you getting that paper. And again, everybody will say, well, money isn't everything. I get it. Money is not everything, but it shows something. Trust me, money may not be everything. Trust me, but it's something. It means something. You have to have it. You got to be able to pay your bills. And sometimes your passions ain't going to pay the bills. And I think that's what makes me laugh when I hear, when I visited other countries and been in other places and I've seen, how bad it can be in the Philippines. I've seen the good sides as well. And then you come back to the United States and you see how spoiled these damn kids are, how they're just crying over broken iPhones and shit when people can't even afford to have the basic necessities, right? So that's the type of shit that I'm really understanding the mindset. I've known this, I've just never put it into a video, but as it pertains to the mindset of us as Americans towards everybody else, where everybody is at basic survival mode for the most part. I like to call it survival mode, but when you're at that point in your life where, look, it's do or die, you're going to put in that work. You're going to do what you have to do to put in that work. All right, but sometimes in the United States, that dire situation doesn't exist, and because it's not do or die, what ends up happening is you got a bunch of spoiled, non-motivated children in the world because they've been fed and given everything that they wanted. So there's no longer a need for them there's no sense of urgency. There's no sense of, look, I got to go out there and get this or it's going to be nothing. Or, yeah, let me go to fashion design school and hopefully I can come out with my own line of clothing or some shit. What are the odds of success? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not shitting on you. If you can focus and really lock in and forego all of the other excess BS and make it happen for yourself, do you. But what I'm saying from a realistic perspective, the odds of you being able to achieve success in those limited career fields where not everybody succeeds, as I said, slim to none. Your percentages are going to be lower. And, that's kind of what I wanted to preach in this video. It's just a thought process. I mean, there's really no ifs, ands, or asses about it. I'm not necessarily telling you to do anything, but comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel about the world as we know it, man. How most of these kids and people from other areas who come into the United States be grinding day and night, hard as hell, in reference to our own people who sometimes don't do right. Sometimes. I mean, there are a couple of us out there who really get in that work, but sometimes, for the majority, they don't go as hard as everybody else, and that's why we get outworked. And that's why you start having people complaining about their jobs being taken by other people or, people from, outside of the United States. And it's mainly because they working harder than you. They doing the most. They are the doctors. I'm telling you, my mother, I love her to death, sweetheart, heart and soul, like I said, her and my young lady, they mean the world to me. But all of my mom, she has health issues, no different. She getting older, shit. Doc ain't no young spring chicken his damn self. But what I like to say is, I'm on my computer, guys, but what I'm going to say, and I'm going to leave you with this, is all of my mother's doctors are from somewhere else. India, Nigeria, or other parts of Africa, in places like that. My mom's doctors' names are almost impossible to pronounce. You understand? So when I see that, it makes me laugh, and but it's real, and it lets me further know we being outworked in this bitch. And there are people who are willing to take the jobs that we are not. So they're always looking for doctors, always looking for nurses from outside because there's not enough of us to go around in country. You understand? So I'm throwing out a bunch of ideas, I know, but I'll find a way to title this video something creative, I guess. We'll see. But anyway, that's just my thought process, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, whether you agree with the good doc. Like, you know what, doc? I can fuck with that thought process. I understand what you're saying. I mean, I see it too. Or you'd be like, doc, what do you talk about, bruh? Like, bruh, that don't make no sense, man. US forever, man. We're number one. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to hit me with that bullshit, you can miss me with that bullshit. All right? So with that being said, the good doc is officially out. At least not go by alarm, which means I'm going now. Bye-bye. As always, love you guys. Mahal kita. Bye-bye. Peace.